reports from our clerk and treasurer, and the minutes are going to be, or voting will be waived. The clerk, Ron, is not here at this moment, but Fred is going to come up and take the stand.
Fred, we love Fred.
So don't worry, we're not going to read the previous minutes. The reason I'm here is there's a couple of things of note. We have a new person with us who is serving as clerk, and he is a techie, so he's actually using audio file, and it's being recorded. My phone is sitting over there with Christiano, and he'll take that, and he's got a software workflow where he cranks it in, and it comes out as a summary and then a full minutes report. So I thought you'd be interested to see that we're in the 21st century, I guess, and even though we're old historical techniques. So Ron's not here. He wanted to, he's about 2 weeks out from recovering COVID, so he wanted to spare us any risk of that. Also, I wanted to mention that Ron is a diehard researcher, and he's really been digging in on the history of this house. And we have a discrepancy between what the Historic Commission has as the official date in the 1700s, 1724, whatever it says on the front of the house. And if you look over here, there's a sign that says Barrett Bynum Homestead, 1663. So Ron found a deed that wasn't on the Historic Commission research, dated 1700, okay? And that kind of turned things around. And we also had a dendrochronologist come in and do some research on some of the beams in the basement downstairs. So we may be getting back to the 1663 date that this house had a couple decades ago. Thought you'd be interested. Thank you.
So now I'd like to invite up Deb for Ways and Means.
All right, Deb.
So, we now have the ability to take credit card purchases. So if anyone would like to purchase anything, we will be able to do it that way. But in the meantime, does everybody have a raffle ticket?
Yeah.
If you do not, raise your hand and we'll get you one. So, this is our new item for sale this year. We sell it for $25. It's an insulated hot and cold mug. Those are down Chelmsford. So that's one thing we're giving away. And then you can have a choice if you win of any of these things. And this is our new glass that's a different shape than what we've had in the past. So first person who wins gets first choice. Okay. And then, Madam President, would you mind?
Number 23.
You do, you get the choice. This goes with this.
You lucky girl. Just one.
Okay, here's your boss.
Thank you very much.
That was my choice. Yes, good choice.
Number 34.
Oh my God, 34.
And I have that
Senior.
I can put it in the bag for you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And last but not least.
Number 15.
15.
We're not number 15.
15. So thank you very much for your continued support. support of buying items. Everything we sell is at Chelmsford Jewelers. We thank them very much. They sell everything. We get all the money back that whenever anybody buys, they take nothing. Yeah, whatever you like, they allow us.
That's why I buy my watch bands.
That's why they just. Just
Jeff McDowell, 4th of July.
First of all, I can recycle this.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Thank you all for being here today, especially to our guest of honor for maintaining the history of Chelmsford. I would like to tell you that the 4th of July is an event that we have that's a major fundraiser for the Historical Society. Anyone who's a Historical Society member would be happy to have you sign up for an hour at the booth, talk to people as they come and go, talk about Chelmsford history, point out the website that we have and the things that we do around town. We'd be more than happy. Other than that, it's Thursday night from 5 to 10 and Friday morning 8 until noontime. There's a sign-up sheet over here that I'll have laid out. Thank you very much for your consideration. Thank you.
So, we've had a few visitors this year, 4 different people from well, 4 different parties of people from Massachusetts, from California, from Georgia, from Minnesota, from Washington. We had a few sessions this year. We have a nice history of the Central Congregational Church, oral history, and a few postcards. We got a couple of 19th century magazines, which make a great addition to have like, around the parlor area. And a payment book from Libby and Evans Groceries in Chelmsford, which I have never heard of. So if anybody knows anything about Libby and Evans Groceries, let me know. A couple butter presses and an iron. Quite a few Chelmsford ginger ale bottles and some other commemorative bottles and some bio matches. A Lowell Sun article about the ginger ale factory and a bicentennial Minuteman button and an 1846 Roby sword. So those are our accessions. There's a new display in the house about dairies and butter making. And there's a display that I hope you all go through that door and you can check it out. It's been in the Chelmsford Library for the month of April, all about the Minutemen and the Battle of Lexington and Concord and Chelmsford's involvement in that. So that's just right through the doorway there. You can check that out. And then I want to introduce you to this lovely coat. This is the Charles Sweetster Freedom Coat. And it was in pretty rough shape in our collection, and we sent it out last spring to Historical Custom Services for conservation. This heavy wool coat was originally donated to the Historical Society by Mrs. Irvin W. Sweetser in 1955. Irvin was Charles' son. It was made by Charles's mother, Mary Adams Sweetser, and given to Charles on his 21st birthday in 1841. It's a rare survivor from the end of an era when clothing was produced from the wool of local sheep that was spun, woven, dyed, and sewn for domestic wear. This practice began to decline with the introduction of local textile mills. Freedom coats or freedom suits were typically presented by a master tradesman to his apprentice at the end of the 7-year training period. And because the coat was made by his mother, we might speculate that Charles was apprenticed under his father Elias, but we don't know what Elias did. So after intensive repairs and cleaning by Henry Cook, who's the owner of Historical Custom Services, we got it back in August, and it made its big appearance at the car show we had last summer, and that's like, you know, the big thing we did this year. That's all.
That brings us to farm fair and me. So, one thing that I want to ask for, I want to ask everybody here to pray to whoever you hold holy, the guy upstairs or whatever, please do not rain on farm fair this year. We did not have a farm fair last year or the year before because of rain. So I'm looking forward to beautiful weather and a wonderful farm fair with all of you in attendance. And that's all we have for farm fair. Which will bring us to the museum manager, who is not able to attend today. So his report will be read at our next meeting. And that brings us to the slate of the board of directors and a vote on the current board of directors with 2 openings. There is an opening for programs and education, and I want to bring that to everybody in this room. We need more volunteers, and we would love to have someone to volunteer for the position of programs, as well as the position of education. That can be one and the same, but we would love more volunteers, and we definitely need someone to take over for both of them, program and or education. If anybody in this room is interested, please let me know, or spread it out to everybody else you know, because we do need someone to take over for each one of those positions. So we do need to vote on this. On the back side here, the board of directors.
I make a motion to accept the directors.
We have a motion from Carol, Mary,
I second.
and a second from Bernie. We have, I call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone abstaining? Anyone object? That sounds like that is a unanimous approval. Now, that brings us to the most important part of our evening, the Guardian Award. The Guardian Award this year, we chose a very special person. And I'm going to try to pronounce her name properly. Ali Reza Joshua Patel.
Very good. Very good.
When I asked to pronounce her name, he introduced himself to me as Ali Smith. Which I could have done. But more importantly, when I first came to Chelmsford, which was about 20 years ago, I looked for things that made me feel at home. And I found shortly after I came here a little restaurant, and it was called Fishbones. Now, Fishbones became very important to me because seafood was very important to my family. And the welcoming atmosphere of that restaurant, it made me feel at home. And that is how I feel about you. You make us feel at home. Now, we were going to have a photograph up here. And I don't know if, Fred, if you can make that photograph appear for me. While you do that, we are presenting you with our award, and I'll tell you what the Guardian Award is about. The Guardian Award is for a person in our community. And for you, for your determined efforts to renovate one of the treasures of Chelmsford Central, the Oddfellows Hall. Thank you very, very much. And the picture of Ali. Yes.
You don't have to see it on the screen. It's on your agenda.
Oh, okay.
And what Lisa would like to ask you is, how many of you know who the lovely lady on the left on the front page is?
I do.
If you do, no, don't say who it is.
Me!
Just raise your hand. Not you, Judy. It's not you, Judy, but you know who it is. Okay. For somebody who did not raise their hand, who would like to guess who that person is?
Any
No
thoughts?
adventurous people? Come on.
You got a guess back here?
Okay, go ahead.
Nikki Songus.
Yes.
Okay, any other guesses? You got it. It was Nikki Songus, and that blew us all away because we didn't know. Ali could have sprung that on us by surprise. He thought it would be fun to throw that picture in, and we put it on our agenda, and now you get to enjoy it. I have one other thing.
Go ahead.
We have a website. Okay, I apologize for jumping in on this, but I had been asked to do this, and this might be a good time. There is a section on the website that nobody ever reads. Nobody. Okay, now we all know that people have very short attention spans these days, and nobody reads anything. Well, we have a section of short stories, and it's linked at the top of every page, and it's called blog. So if you go to our website and you click on blog, you get a bunch of short stories, and they were written by a number of people, including Ron Sykes, who's not here, myself, Becky Warren, and a couple, and Dina. And here's my challenge, okay? I believe that nobody ever reads it. That's what Ron tells me when he looks at the stats. So if you can look at the blog and resist reading any of the stories, okay, let us know.
Well, I'm really humbled. I just want to echo Lisa's words. 20 years ago when I came to Chelmsford and dreamed of just opening up a little restaurant with a fish market in it, I never realized that I'll be standing here before you and accepting this award. It's really humbling to me. As Lisa mentioned, maybe she calls Fishbones home and we call Chelmsford home. Chelmsford has really embraced us as a community, has let us grow, and it's just been unbelievable. When I purchased Oddfellows, I remember somebody told me that in your lifetime you're never going to see a return on your investment. And I told him that return on investment is not monetary value. It's satisfaction and excitement you get from it. So that's what Oddfellows is all about. The restaurant that we're going to put in, the Prime 41, is just going to be another example of what you can do with the vision. And it was long coming, 2019, 6 years, COVID, as we know, in 2020. And here we are. And I couldn't do it without someone special here, Amy Hannaford, right there. So I'll always call her, and when I need something done, she's always there. She's great. She's been with me from the beginning. So thank you very much. Okay. All right. Fred's got to put me in this position. Okay. Well, I will gladly answer any questions you have. We have a little presentation here with some pictures that we found. And I'm going to go through it one by one. And if you have any questions, you can just jump in and ask. So, I don't know what that is. That's an ironing board. We just found it in there. I don't know when that showed up. It didn't know it is, but somebody decided to put an ironing board. So, I don't think that's from 1800s, but maybe. So, this is where we, on the first floor, when we got the building out on the first floor, we didn't know what it was. So as you can see, we had everything shored up. And those are the structural engineers to say what's staying and what is going. And we almost, the building, we kept this quiet, but the building almost collapsed. So because people were there banging everything around, so we said, onions, peel it away, a little bit at a time. So this is Christmas Eve, somebody needed to get bailed out. So this is what it is, a chief probation officer. We found that because it used to be a bank. So we found that in the attic. And they used to work on Christmas Eve at that. This is another one, a note. I don't know if you want to, you can see the percentage, annual percentage, 21.5%. That's 1979. This is Paul Sangis. His loan total due was $342.72. He was paying 20.5%. And that was his address in Virginia.
Still
What's the
paying.
name on that road?
That is 110680. I tried to sell that to Nikki, but she wouldn't buy it. So it's gonna end up in a frame at 541. In the old days, they used to save everything, so when we started filling away the plaster, these are the few of the things that we found in there. So they used to bury everything in the walls. Treasures, and we have them. So we're gonna repurpose them, and instead of just putting artwork, this is what's gonna be throughout the new estate. There's another one. I think we're gonna keep it in that shape. Don't try to restore it to be like a barn find.
Thank you.
Pepsi Cola, we found that in the ceiling as we were taking the walls down. Another one, this is on the exterior wall, believe it or not. I guess the health department was $20 fine. They figured they put it on the outside for advertise it. This is the vault in the old bank, and that's the shape it is as of today. We're going to turn that into a wine room for the new restaurant. And so we will have the door open, and we'll just sandblast it, get rid of all the rust, and we'll house about 150 different kinds of wines in there. And that's the inside of the wall looking outside. So they had a phone, if somebody got locked in there for some reason. And that handle there, if you got locked in there and nobody came to help you, you could open that up for some air. That's what that was. That's the foundation for the vault in the basement. So that would be our new liquor room. You know how you have to lock that up, right? So that's where that is. Same thing, it's the foundation of the wall. This was the after hours deposit. We still have that face. We are going to integrate that into our bar. So if you guys want to leave an extra tip after hours, you can do that. And this is the inside. That's where they used to collect it. That was encased in about 24 inches of concrete. We had to jackhammer for 3 days. And we had to have about 10 men to just get the box out of it. I think there was a video on it that it was showing. This is it. This is the whole unit. And that is so heavy, they had to bring a lift to bring it up. Same thing. These are all the concrete that we had to jackhammer out of the night deposit. And that was the position that it was. And also we looked inside of it to see if there was any money, but there was only 2 money bags. Somebody had gotten to it before us. So this is a really unique space. This is actually the attic, and this is what the timber framing was in the 1800s and the beginning of 1900s. We really wanted to restore that, but the engineer said that the roof trusses would not handle all the sheetrocks and the plaster and the insulation. So we decided to raise the ceiling on the apartments, which I think is in one of the pictures, to expose the beam and leave everything else untouched for the next generation when they're going to come in. So that, as you see it, is untouched in the attic upstairs. You can really make another apartment up there. But we figured we just leave that because it's such a historic value to it. We try to mess around with that and try to change it. So that's out there for the next guardian. Same thing, that's what we exposed. The beam that actually shows in one of the apartments. Same thing here. So that gives you a little bit of view of what it would look like. So if you go to the attic, that's all exposed. Oddfellows used to be, the reason they call it a hall, this was all exposed. That was the ceiling. There was no third floor. There was always a second floor. And there's a ramp in the hallway that goes up, and they had a stage that would perform. And that was the hall, and that was actually the ceiling of the property. So this is actually everything cleaned out, and this is what we were left with. The building was in the late 1800s and early 1900s, what they call a balloon framing. And the balloon framing would be stud wall coming from the field foundation all the way up to the rafters, and that creates a lot of empty cavities. And in order to bring it to the standards for the fire codes now, we have to fill out all those cavities. So that's where we have to go in and take everything out and start filling in the cavities and frame them back up. So this is where you see all the new windows that are in there. In order for us to do that, the engineer said that if we take so much of the building out, the building would sway. So we had to, those are great, those in green 4744, those are the ramp and the grate for the finished floor. So we had to figure out where to put the steel beams and the steel headers. So we had to have that made special, that I think we will see in one of the pictures. So we had to expose everything. Those are the basement trusses. So this is on the inside. We had to take everything out because they did not have any structural value to it throughout the years, all the water damage. So everything had to come out. And that's Pete standing there. This was the old boiler room in the basement. But because there was so much humidity, he had rotted everything on the first floor. So after we took out all the heating units, we had to reframe everything on the first floor. So this is on the inside of the two previous pictures. This is what we had to pour footings. I think it's going to be on the next slide. We had to pour footings, go all the way to the fieldstone foundation in order to support the weight of the building. So these are the LVLs. This is what we do. I mean, we go back and we say 1800s and 1900s balloon framing. I think 100 years from now, somebody would say in 2000 they used to use LVL. And this is what we use now instead of just the LVL is very strong material. This is on the addition side, below. This is actually the basement. So, as you remember when I said it was balloon framing, these are the stud walls that was coming onto the field foundation. This is the original fieldstone foundation. And these were below grade, so everything was rotted. So what we had to do was pin a new foundation wall or kind of a footing, and we decided to leave those inside and just shore up the building that way and put in new walls up. Otherwise, the brook is on the other side, so we had to bring it up to the grade so the brook water would not rot any more items, any more this is what I talk about, the footings. We had to put these footings to put the steel columns to support the building, because the building when we took it over was leaning this way. So we had to straighten it out, and we had to raise it 6 inches. He could have used another 6 inches, but the structural engineers said that was a tolerance, only 6 inches, we could not raise it anymore. So we had to level everything else on site. These are the footings we're talking about on the outside, so everything's coming to the fieldstone foundation, and the steel beams are going to be installed on top of this. Same thing on the other side, we did the brook side, so everything has to be raised, and this is with the original foundation, and we had to put a footing and a little foundation wall to bring it above the grade. This is actually a grease trap for the restaurant. We had to dig up and hook it up to the soil. And this is my favorite part. Everybody wanted to put carpet on the hallway floors, because this was the floors. And I said, no, we have to restore that. I mean, this is over 100 years old. And it was in the video. For some reason, I'm not sure if it's here, but it was in the videos it was showing. But that's what the finished product looked like. So this is actually on the first floor. When our tenants go up, they can see the progress of our fellows. We put this collage of pictures so they can appreciate the building. And the building, there is no one apartment that has the same footprint. They're all different footprints. So it's not like a cookie cutter. Every single apartment has a different story.
Very nice.
So this was my idea. Welcome home for the people that come in. This was the original.